In today's video, I'm sharing with you 12 powerful strategies on how you can get clients for your AI automation agency. And if I step over here, you can see some of these are familiar. You probably know some of these, but a lot of people aren't even talking about. And if you stay until the end, I'll share with you a special offer on how you can take your marketing to the next level and get more qualified appointments, get more qualified leads through social media. So without further ado, get your notebook, get a pen, and let's get into it. So let's get started with the first one. It's going to be this camera looking thing right here, which I think you can guess what it is, but it's going to be organic content creation. Now, this is probably the most obvious one, especially in 2024 or 2025, whenever you're watching this. Either way, it's gonna be like this for a while, where, doing content like the video that you're watching right now is going to be the best way to market what you're selling, mainly because you're building a genuine connection between you and the viewer, especially if you're showing your face and it's not faceless. Now, if you know me and if you watched my previous videos, you know that I gained, let me just erase this over here really quickly. Then I went from 800 followers on Instagram, so 800 followers straight to right on I think I'm at 10.2K right now, which is genuinely insane. And that only happened because I did a bunch of organic content creation, but it doesn't mean just one or two every single week. That's what I started with. So when I was at this level, I was at 1 to 2 videos a week, and I didn't understand, content that much. I was like, okay, 1 to 2 a week, that's not bad. It's gonna live on the internet forever anyway, who cares? But what I didn't understand is that, no, you have to be consistent. So what's really gonna take you to the next level, so I'm gonna put next level, is going to be, we can say 5 to 7 times a week. That's what's gonna take you to the next level. And especially when you're starting out. And actually, I made a bit of a mistake. It is not 800. It's actually going to be way less than that. So it's going to be 300. And the only reason I went from this to this is because I would engage with a content creator called The Insiders Club on Instagram. I'll probably put his thing right here, his account right here. And eventually, I think he reached out to me or I reached out to him. Either way, one of us reached out to each other and we're talking about the support and Instagram and how to grow, all of that stuff. And he helped me out. He saw me posting 1 to 2 times a week. I think it was 1 actually. And he was like, bro, you can't do that. You need to post way more than that. And I was like, I mean, I'm on a tight schedule. I can't really put, yes, you can, he said. Yes, you can. And so I found the time, I did it. I used the bulk videos. And then I was like, okay, actually, I think I can actually do this. I fit it into my schedule. I took out a bunch of unnecessary stuff and I put content. And little did I know, content is literally my #1 thing right now, the #1 focus. It's the main thing that drives people into my funnel. So organic content creation is super important. And I'm gonna put a check mark right here because we already went over it. So the next one that I'm gonna do right here, this is going to be writing articles. Now, you've probably have not heard of this one, surprisingly enough. I mean, it seems pretty simple, just writing an article. Now, in the AI space especially, this is going to be pretty big because, an article is basically like all of your information in one big, bunch of text. But of course, you're gonna, section it and all that stuff. And a lot of people, tend to read this stuff. And this can actually land you a few clients if you do it the right way. Now, if you use tools like, let's say Medium, actually, I don't want to write it there. I write it over here though. Let me put Medium. There's also other things you can use. You can use X even. X allows articles. You can use LinkedIn. I don't think that's how you spell LinkedIn, but it is what it is. So if you write articles on these platforms right here, you can actually get a bunch of people and a bunch of eyes on you, especially for what you know. If you have a bunch of knowledge on this stuff, you might as well share it, with an article and people are going to read it. But it's not the most lucrative way. It's something to do if you actually like writing, because if you do it passionately and consistently, you're 100% going to get a bunch of results. And the most important thing about writing articles, you're literally going to get instant credibility, like quite literally instantly. So instant credibility. And that's because, you can't really fake writing. Well, I guess you can now with AI, but I mean, you can pretty much tell if something's written by AI or not, unless you do it like really good. But this is a really good way to filter and get to the people that actually know what you're talking about. I mean, even if you're doing AI, I mean, you have to tell the AI a bunch of things, I guess, so it can actually know about it, because I don't even think AI knows as much as you know, because we actually built the thing, if that makes sense. And I'd also say you're gonna build a lot of authority, 100%, especially if you're doing this consistently and a lot of people know you in the space, then you're going to build a bunch of authority. Now, I myself have done this once, and it was an article on Medium, and it didn't go so well. It got 0 views, of course. I mean, it's my first one. You have to be consistent. But I don't like writing at all. I mean, I would use AI for it, but it doesn't feel genuine. And honestly, I just, I don't want to get into that. So writing articles is not for me. I'm like more of like recording content like you see here with the camera. So that's more of me. And if that's not more of you, well, you can start writing actually, and that'll help you too. And that's actually something I see pretty much. A lot of people who record content don't like writing as much, but a lot of people who write don't really like recording. So it's a bit of a disparity right there. I haven't really seen that many people that like to record and write at the same time, but I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's different. So next we have the two familiars. You've probably seen these before, Fiverr and Upwork. And I only put these here because it's an extremely good way and super underrated too. So I'm gonna write over here. Let's put, let me just make that there. I'll erase it later on. So I'll put Fiverr, I think that's how you spell it, plus Upwork. So if you're a freelancer, or even if you have an agency, you can really just source people from Fiverr and Upwork. Because Fiverr and Upwork, if you list yourself there, you're gonna become super credible. Every time someone's looking for an AI solution, they're gonna see your face as the #1 person. And I believe there's different tiers of like how credible a person is on their platform. So I know places like Fiverr, they have a bunch of different tiers. For example, Fiverr has, I believe, a pro plan. And then they also have, top seller. You can also be like a level 1 seller, level 2. So Fiverr has a bunch of these things to actually distinguish who is actually like a senior in the space and who's maybe new to freelancing. Maybe they might not actually be new, but maybe they're new on the platform. So that can help you right there. So that's gonna help people find you. If you help a bunch of people in the space, you can maybe become prorated or maybe like a top seller. And think about how many people are actually on those platforms. Like, you don't even have to create content because, these platforms probably get millions of people every single day. And I'd still recommend you create content, of course, but these platforms get millions of people every day. If they're looking for an AI solution, the first person they're gonna see, if you're prorated or if you're your seller, they're gonna see you. That's you. I wrote that right there as a visual thing. They're gonna see you. So you're the first person they're gonna go to. And then for Upwork, I think this is better for like developers, building an actual software. This is where I found my no-code developers. And well, they're actually doing code now and it's so much smoother, but this is where I found my developers. So I'm gonna put a line right here. Upwork is probably, I'd say better for developers. So maybe it's not, maybe you could be, like that AI chatbot guy on there too, but you're probably gonna find that most success on Fiverr because Upwork's mostly for like development and, really professional things. But either way, always try out both. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're gonna find success on Upwork instead of Fiverr, or maybe Fiverr instead of Upwork, or even both, best case scenario. But anyhow, let's just get straight into the next one. So Fiverr, Upwork, that's gonna be a check mark. All right, so next one is going to be networking events and meetups. So I'm gonna erase this side right here. Hopefully you took a screenshot of it earlier and you can pause the video. All right, so networking, meetup, and events. And I know a lot of people are actually scared to meet with people in person, but trust me, it is so easier than you think. You're literally just building a relationship, or you can even be, hi, what do you do? And then slowly you're gonna learn about each other. You maybe have something in common and maybe you're gonna collaborate on a project. And it really just starts small and then it goes big. So I'm not, a specialist on what to say to people when you meet them at networking events, but what I am telling you to do is literally just get out there, talk to people, because you might learn something that they're doing that might be maybe a good solution for you as well. And it could be a game changer for your business. So I was watching a video the other day on a content agency, how to market, how to outreach, and they were talking about how in person, so I write it down here, in person, they were able to get a bunch of clients because a lot of people don't do that anymore. A lot of people who are starting a content agency tend to go to the high status people, the people with a bunch of money, with like millions of followers, with hundreds of thousands of followers. And realistically, you can obviously pitch those people, but that's what everyone's doing. Everyone's starting a content agency. Oh, I'm gonna go for this person. I'm gonna go for this person. They all have a bunch of followers, a bunch of maybe money, and everyone's going for that. But what people aren't going for is people in person. Maybe your business down the street, maybe a business in your city, 10 minutes away from you. So I'm gonna put in your city. Or maybe like we said down here, it can be networking, meetups, it can be events. And they likely have not been pitched, especially if they haven't set up their social media. That's gonna be a big green flag for you to go in and help them with content. Or maybe you can think about this too. If they have a podcast, maybe you can meet a podcast host or something like that. Then you can pitch clipping their podcast into viral shorts that will go viral on their page. And maybe you can even do a redistribution campaign where you're posting on multiple accounts and you optimize those accounts to get them more leads or maybe more people into their funnel. And just like that, boom, you're making a bunch of money for that person, for that client. So that case study, that testimonial is going to be insane for your business. So Just like that, if you meet in person or maybe you meet a podcast host, you can, pitch them tailored to what they're doing. Even if they're new to it, but they want to get into it, they have a camera, they have a microphone, but they don't know what to say, well, that's where you come in. We can do the scripting, we do the video editing, we can help you with SEO optimization, everything like that. So there's so many opportunities out there in person. So I'm gonna put a check mark here because we already did this. I'll just put 3. And the next one is going to be, you can probably see how familiar it is, LinkedIn. Now, this is gonna be another social media one, similar to the first that we talked about, organic content creation, but LinkedIn's more text-based, right? I mean, it's getting more short form, but it's still text-based. And by the way, if you're looking to optimize your social media profile to attract more clients, you can click the video right here or wherever it is, one of these top things right here. But getting back into it, LinkedIn is super underrated right now. A lot of people are getting into it, but a lot of people still don't know about it. So this is pretty much another version of Twitter, except I say way more professional and way more open to pitching your business. So if you go on LinkedIn, you can do DM outreach. And people are literally okay with this, especially if you connect with them first and they accept it. That's pretty much them telling you, yeah, it's okay to pitch me, go ahead. That's pretty much what they're saying. They didn't have to accept the connection. So you can do DM outreach. You can literally spam connections with people in your niche. And once you get that 500 plus connections and a bunch of followers from just spamming connections in your niche, your real profile is going to be looking really good. So make sure you have that offer in shape. Make sure you have your banner actually promoting what you're actually doing. And then also make sure you have a link in your bio leading to something, whether it's a newsletter, maybe it's your funnel page, or maybe your business website. Either way, that's one place you can get really good clients from, LinkedIn. And also, I've seen a big trend of people just giving free value. There's a bunch of likes, there's a bunch of comments. You can even use comment automation. Well, it's not actually an automation like Instagram, but if people comment, it's gonna create engagement, and that just creates a snowball effect for LinkedIn to be like, okay, this video is doing good, there's a lot of engagement, let's just keep pushing it out. And I don't think LinkedIn actually understands this comment thing, because I've seen a bunch of posts with this comment thing go viral, and LinkedIn just doesn't even know. It's just a snowball effect because they're like overloaded with how many comments there are. They're not used to this. All the Instagram people coming to LinkedIn to promote their stuff. It's pretty crazy. But definitely here is really good. And even I can add X, to be honest. They're almost similar, but they're actually pretty different at the same time. Not sure how to explain it, but I'll give you a quick strategy. So if you're doing text posts, it doesn't have to be salesy. It can be, normal, but make sure you're doing it a bunch of times a day. I'd say 2 to 3 times a day. Maybe on LinkedIn, you can do 1 to 2 times, but on X, for sure, do 2 to 3 times a day. So because X, it takes a lot more volume to get seen, especially because I think X has a bunch more users than LinkedIn. So it's a bit harder to stand out from the crowd of people, similar to YouTube in a sense, but not exactly. And a really quick tip, if you're doing videos on any of these platforms, make sure you have something that stands out. For example, on X, a lot of people are using it in dark mode. So if you put like a white video in the background, for example, this video works right here, then it's gonna stand out from a bunch of the videos that they're scrolling past. Because dark mode and then light automatically, it's like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. This is random. So that's gonna stand out. And then on LinkedIn, I'm not even sure the strategy there. Just create a video that is informative, that teaches people and gives free value. That's what a lot of people on LinkedIn love, free value. So I'm gonna put a check right here. We did good with that one. Next one is going to be strategic partnerships. So I'm gonna write that right here really quickly. So don't think too heavily about this one, strategic partnerships. I'll explain it really simply and really quickly. So strategic partnerships, think about it as you partnering with another agency or business, but in a way where it benefits you and them at the same time. So let's say you're a content agency. I keep bringing this up because I'm a content agency, but let's say you are one and you have people, a bunch of clients coming in, but you don't know how to do the editing. Well, maybe you can hire an editing agency to do it for you. So content agency, X editing agency. Or maybe your business who, wants more leads, but can't really find them in a way that you want to. Maybe you can email another business. Hey, do you want to share leads? I have 10,000 plus leads. You can share me your 10,000 plus leads and we can just do a quick little transaction right there. Really quick, really simple. So that could be one too. So it can be leads. I call that a lead swap. And there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. Like literally I can go with this forever. Maybe even a branding agency for thumbnails. There's so many ways you can do strategic partnerships with other businesses. So just be smart about it and make sure it's something that benefits you, especially because you're watching this video because you want more clients. So make sure what you're doing is actually going to help you get more clients, right? Make sure the ROI is there. So check marks right there. And actually, it doesn't even have to be ROI. It can be maybe a partnership. So maybe later in the future, maybe in a year or two, you can access a bigger company that you want to partner with eventually. So that can be like strategic too. Make sure you're patient and you play the long game all the time. So I'm gonna erase this again. We just keep filling it up with a bunch of value for you guys. I'm loving this though. Let's keep it up. So next we have webinars and workshops. So I have really no space to write this. So I'm just maybe gonna write it on the side, but webinars and workshops. Now I already know from a bunch of people who've done this already, webinars and workshops get so many leads or so many people or maybe clients because, you know, a bunch of people are there. So it's social proof right there. If you have a bunch of people in your workshop, they're all watching your live stream, maybe even in a webinar, then they're like, okay, all these other people, let's say 600 plus people, also want what this guy's talking about or maybe what he's selling. So that's social proof right there. And then with these two, you can even offer one-on-one sessions or coaching sessions because let's say these are free and you're just giving a bunch of value straight up front and off the bat. You can offer like a one-on-one private session with them. It can be free, no cost. And even after that, you can just upsell or maybe something like that. So I'm gonna put here, upsell. Now I actually have not done a webinar or a workshop before, but I've heard from other people that it's awesome. Like I know Grant Cardone, who's in real estate, he does it all the time. And that's always getting him a bunch of new deals or a bunch of new partners for real estate. Or maybe people would go high level. A lot of people do workshops with go high level, maybe like a 3-day workshop. And then from that, to gain like 50 new affiliates. So it just works like that. It's really just giving free value up front, having the social proof, which is like 500 plus people in your workshop or maybe your webinar. And then from there, of course, you can upsell or maybe have scarcity, maybe add some urgency, things like that. So just selling techniques really after you're done with the workshop or maybe the webinar. So either way, that's a really good way to do it, especially. So either way, it's a really good way to do it. And think about this, even if you don't get anyone from it, worst case scenario, which I bet you will, but let's say worst case scenario, you don't, you can clip it up, put it out as content, and then that's your content for the next month or so. So think about it positively. Don't think about it negatively ever. So webinar is good. Now, next we have to do cold outreach. So this is actually pretty good too, but just remember it's a value game. It's a numbers game. So I've actually tried to train people in the past who, you know, wanted to get good with Go High Level. And I was like, all right, let me help you out. So I've trained people and guess what they would do? 10 emails a day. And I was like, bro, we need to up this. You need to get to more domains. We need to actually start pumping it out. Come on, we actually got this. Just, it's a numbers game. The more people you send to, the more people you outreach to, the more likely they're gonna respond. And they're like, okay. So I checked back in a couple days later. They're like, yeah, bro, I'm not doing this anymore. I quit. I'm not getting no responses. I was like, bro, it's a numbers game. You have to be consistent. And he stopped High Level just because of that. And I was like, see, a lot of people won't even make it in this game because they're not patient enough. They're not willing to take the risk and they're not willing to be patient for that long-term success. So literally it's just a numbers game. I'll put it here too, and I'll put it in caps. And I'm not a cold outreach expert, but what I do know is that after so many emails being sent, there's only so many people that can ignore you from that. And I guarantee you, you're gonna get a bunch of responses. Just stay consistent, do it for at least 6 months, and I guarantee you, you're gonna have at least one client. If you stay consistent though, you have to send a bunch of emails a day, not 10 emails a day. That's horrible. And he had, I believe, more than one domain. So make sure you have multiple domains, make sure you're sending multiple times a day on each of those domains, more than 10 times a day. I'd say about 30 to 40 times on each single domain. Or actually, maybe we can, bring it down a little bit, 20 to 25 times. So just so if you want to be safe and you don't want to burn it, 20 to 25 times every single day to each of your contacts, and make sure you have a sequence to nurture them even if they don't respond. So that's out of the way. Now we have Facebook groups. So I'll put it right here really quickly, Facebook group. So this one won't convert as well as you think. It's probably one of the lower tiered ones, but it still can work. So it's mostly just about networking and building a connection with people in the community. Same thing if you're doing it in maybe a Discord community or maybe like a school community. School is really good for this actually, but Facebook group and just build a connection. And of course, think of it as prospecting. I wouldn't do outreach on here, but I definitely prospect. So there's a difference. Prospecting is when you're actually, talking to them, giving a bunch of free value, but you don't pitch. You don't pitch at all. And when you get that question, so what do you do? Then you can go all out and you can pitch. But outreach, you're really just pitching right away. You're not really giving free value. Or maybe if you're using the Dream 100 method, you are giving value. But make sure you don't pitch and you just keep giving the value. So build a connection and then give value and also network with people in there because you could potentially meet even bigger people in your space. So just keep doing it. That's how I found even some of my clients. Okay, so off to the next one, we have paid ads. Now, I don't really have experience with this one besides when I first started, I did drop shipping. Now, when it comes to an AI agency, I'd assume it's the same thing. Obviously, it's just running an advertisement. And of course, I'm going to give you some really good strategies with this because I used to use some crazy ones. So first, I want you to take the Facebook ad library. Actually, you've probably heard this one before. So Facebook ad library. Now in the Facebook ad library, I want you to look for ads similar to yours. So look for like a keyword that you would use that they're probably using as well. And then you're gonna see their ad, you're gonna wanna compare it to yours and maybe even copy theirs. And I don't mean like word for word, but of course you wanna change it very, very little bit. I mean, actually, you could take word for word. I'm not telling you not to, but I'm also not telling you it's gonna keep you out of trouble. So take their advertisement, compare it to yours and see how we can make yours better, especially if theirs is performing, they're doing something good. They're doing something crazy that you're not doing. So you need to take what they're doing and apply it to yours. Maybe don't keep it the exact same thing, but you can maybe tailor it a little bit, a very little bit. Maybe a different colored water bottle in the back, maybe a different background, something like that. Either way, make it a little bit different. So down here, I put compare it and then steal it, not actually steal it, but take it and then maybe use that same theme, use the same type of ad it was. For example, if it's a water bottle ad and you're running on the beach, maybe you can take a water bottle, but maybe your brand's water bottle and then take it on the beach and then run with that as well. Whatever type of ad it is, just tailor it, be smart with it, and then use it to your advantage because it's performing well for a reason. It'll perform well for you too if you do it properly. So definitely Facebook ads would do good. And it doesn't have to be Facebook ads. It can be YouTube ads as well. YouTube ads have been, doing really good. I've seen Instagram ads going up lately too. And I see this strictly happening because everyone is doing like what it says up here, organic content creation. So what are people naturally going to do? They're going to go the opposite way. They're going to do what a lot of people aren't doing. So it's just going to literally keep being a back and forth thing. And, it's going to just stay like this forever until there's a new type of concept for marketing or maybe content creation, something like that. So it's going to just keep being like this. So definitely paid ads are really good too, especially if you can master it. I'm not like an ad expert, but what I will say is that you're definitely going to get what you want, which is going to be clients just at the cost of money. So if you're starting out, don't do ads, just do organic. Literally, it's probably the easiest thing. But if you're, making really good money and ads don't really hurt you that much, then definitely try it out. But good. So we're going to go on to the next one. Paid ads was a good one. Next one is going to be this one right here with the person and some text and a star. This is because it's actually a testimonial, which is going to be your strongest form of telling people you know what you're doing. Testimonials is extremely strong because it's someone else, not a family member, not a close friend. It's someone random that actually came to you for your service. You helped them out. Now they're giving you a video about how good your service was. And when other people see that, they're like, dang, he helped this person. I want to be helped now too. So now you look really good in their eyes and maybe they become a client. They give you another testimonial and it's just going to become a snowball effect. So imagine like a whole website full of testimonials. So I'm going to draw it here. Imagine a whole website full of testimonials, like you have a testimonial wall. This is your strongest form of social proof and proof that you know what you're doing. And I guarantee you a lot of their objections are no longer going to be objections because these videos are going to prove that you actually know what you're doing. So testimonials are super important, especially if you have like a social media page. You're going to want to put like them on the story highlights, as you've seen some people do. Like it'll look like that's their bio right there. And then they'll have highlights under it like that. And then their videos like this. So you definitely want to, okay, I'm a little bad at drawing, but that's like an Instagram page right there. So especially if leads want to give objections, just send them the website page. Boom, they don't have no more questions. Let's just book a call. And you're like, all right. So that one's done. And now for the last one, this is going to be a value-based funnel. So I don't even have to really draw a funnel. I really have a better visual for you guys. So it's on my phone down there. So if I put right here, I'm gonna put cost. And then up here, I'll put markup. So let's say you have the cost of the product that you have. Okay, cool. So let's say the cost is $15.99. That's how much you're selling it for. You don't want to change the price. You want to keep it there. Okay, cool. Let's say maybe one day you want to mark up the price a little bit and get some extra profit. So the markup, let's say it's going to be $47.99. Not a bad markup. That's actually, profits going up. You're getting a bunch more money for a product you once sold for $15.99, and now you're selling for almost $50, which is like, probably almost 3 times that. But now there's one more thing that we're missing, and that's going to be this huge rectangle up here. Guess what this is? This is going to be perceived value. So perceived value is going to be the value that your customers or maybe people that might buy from you see the product as. So let's say you're selling it for $15.99 and the markup is $47.99. But what's the perceived value? Maybe people actually see the product as something that should be worth $250. And you're missing out because you didn't know that, because you wanted to keep the cost down here and maybe you marked it up a little bit for, a special holiday or something like that, and then you bring it back down. Well, actually your customers see this as like $250 and you didn't even know. You're missing out on huge profits. Like that's, I believe, over 10x. And actually it's way more than 10x. So cost, markup, perceived value. So based off the value that people perceive the value to be, you're gonna wanna price the product right there. And it's gonna be hard to see this at first. Maybe you can see what other people are charging, but also keep in mind your brand has an effect on this, because if you're someone like Mr. Beast, let's say, the perceived value is gonna be so much higher than if you're, let's say, Jimmy, who, works at Walmart. His perceived value is going to be super low. So having a lot of status or maybe a lot of social proof or a big brand will definitely raise that perceived value. And once again, they go straight to content. So having a big brand or maybe a lot of status or a lot of social proof will definitely higher the perceived value than if you're Jim Schmill, which always leads back to, well, you guessed, organic content creation. And if you're looking to grow your business or maybe scale your business through social media, click the first link in the description to book a call with me. I'll give you a free social media audit and we'll see how we can help you achieve your goals, whether it's through then for you scripting, editing, SEO optimization, even automation, all of that stuff. Anyhow, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.